Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about, excuse the background noise so you can hear Charlie. I had to kick him out because he was making too much noise. So I wanted to make this video because Charlie! The topic is from New Age to Jesus because, yeah, I guess we should do a small portion of a story time because we should start from 2019. I believe my last video I mentioned in the I was friends with a narcissist story time, having a moment where I had a spiritual awakening. Yeah, not sure if I believe I kept that in the video because like it was 2 hours long. But long story short, had a spiritual awakening like literally like a few days before high school graduation. I like found tarot and I was seeing like a synchronistic numbers like 1111 and yeah, stuff like that. I was around people and some people felt like I met them before, but I've never met them before. I kid you not. And I was just like, Jeremy was like one of those people. It's just like, oh my gosh, like there's so many similarities. It was like we grew up in like the same house, but like we didn't. And I was just like, huh. Yeah, there were just like a lot of similarities. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like where do I know you? Literally, it's like we were like siblings from the same household. So I was like, that was interesting. But yeah, okay, I need to quit saying but yeah, yeah, but I wanted to make this video because since then, like, tarot and like crystals and religion and just like faith in general has been a topic a lot of people talk about and continuously debate about. And I would see, like, between 2019 to 2021, I would see like a bunch of videos talking about other people's experiences from New Age to Jesus, and I was just like, why are there so many videos? Like, it was literally like it's giving a trend. And hearing different people's stories about how they started using tarot and stuff like that, a lot of people were having like a really hard time. Like, parents got divorced or they were going through deep depression. Things just weren't like panning out right in their life, and I was just like, huh, like that's really interesting. But these are like common trends that I would notice between these videos, and a lot of people would just talk about how like demonic everything is, and it's just like, okay. And in the last video I made, I mentioned too that I really got into research and like asking questions and like I've always asked questions, but receiving the answers, not really. I grew up in a Christian household, and like going to church and stuff like that, it's just asking questions. Like, they're just like, oh, just go to this section of the Bible. But the Bible is highly, like, you can interpret the Bible so many different ways, so it's kind of hard to tell people to go to this section. But I like to view things from other perspectives too, and not just from like one viewpoint. And some of the things that like people were saying that were like, oh my gosh, like this is demonic. Like, I would see people under different videos talking about like astral projection and like how like the preachers and priests would talk about this stuff and how it's demonic. And I was just like, how is astral projection demonic when there is the movie Heaven is for Real? The kid was literally, I don't know his name, but the movie was basically about that. It's a very natural thing to humans. People accidentally do it. Some people actually practice, and some people can do it on command. It's, from what I hear, it's pretty rare, but it happens a lot. Okay, well, here's the thing. I believe that we are spirits, and our like bodies are like a glove, and our spirits are like our hands. That's how I like envision it. So you're putting the spirit into the body, so therefore when you actually pass away, you're technically transitioning. That's what I believe. I feel like a lot of people believe that. So, okay, just better posture. Okay, so yeah, so I was just like, okay, how is that demonic when it's a very natural thing? There's a whole movie on it, and it's just giving like a lack of understanding, because people will call something demonic but then not question, okay, like, well, how can I call this demonic when I'm doing this? For example, everybody loves to talk about hoodoo and voodoo. I don't really like know too much about that stuff, but based on the portrayal in some of the movies, everything's like supernatural, and like about monsters and just violence in general. Most popular movies and media about stuff like that. But even that, the supernatural stuff, and witches, warlocks, wizards, a lot of TV shows and movies are about like supernatural themes and titled fantasy. However, I believe a lot of the stuff that's fantasy is actually real, because I've had some very trippy experiences, like just walking past people. I had this one experience where this guy had just treacherous energy, and you literally get sick and like standing in the presence of this person. I'm not sure if I told that story time. Oh my gosh, I feel like I should tell the story time so it can like be okay. Yeah, but I've had experiences, like energy is very real. We can feel energy. Everybody feels energy. People like to shame and claim it's demonic, and it's not. How is feeling energy demonic? But every time you see something on the news, someone got robbed, or there was some type of tragedy that occurred, and they're like, oh well, before this happened I got a really bad feeling from this guy, or this guy seemed weird. Something told you, you felt some kind of energy. Even if you don't explain it like that, you had an intuitive feeling, gut feeling, whatever. There's so many different ways people like to describe it, but you knew something was off, and then something happened. Energy. And everything around us, it's energy. So like, I see so many people talking about like, oh my gosh, those weirdos that talk about feeling energy, and it's like, well, I mean, how is someone a weirdo for being able to feel energy? Like, technically, aren't you the weirdo for not being able to feel the energy? Because if there's too much stuff going on in this world for us to like pretend like having discernment is demonic, when there's literally everything, the representation of like what kind of person we should be, are a lot of the role models today, everything that's like a lot of negative stuff is actually hyped up in society. Anybody that's trying to like get you to get connected to yourself, learn something that's actually going to be a benefit to your life, that's like kind of shut down and pushed away from like the mainstream. But we have to ask the question, like, why is everything like get like that? And even like in regards to new age, the term new age is so like, it's giving government made, because there's so many cultures actually have like a spiritual practice. It's spirituality. New age is, it's not really. Yeah, I had friends that would literally send me witch talk videos, and it'll be like, oh my gosh, when your friend's a witch and she doesn't want to text back, and it's like, why are you sending me this? And like, it's just stuff like that. That stuff right there is new age. Like, you're seriously like not going to, if you have to sit there and do that to get someone to text you back first, maybe that's not your person. Maybe you should find someone new, because that's, no. You shouldn't have to go out of your way and use an ounce of your energy to get people to pay attention to you, to text you, call you back if they want to play games. Let that person go play games with people who want to play games. If you don't want to play games and you're serious, stay away from people that are playing games. Sounds so like simple, but like, you know, yeah. If I was just saying, because I was just like, what is this? But like spirituality is about, it's literally so many, spirituality to me is about being connected and having a high amount of faith and discernment. Like when things aren't looking good, like you're genuinely, like you're connected, you feel safe. Like I have family members that are like, they identify as Christian, and they love to talk about God all the time. And like I believe in God, but it's just like they'll talk about God when it's okay for them to say like, oh, the spirit has or like God placed it on my heart to do this or say that. But then when I say like, oh, I don't have a good feeling about this, I don't think I should do this. Like there was a mall shooting that happened. I actually made a video about that, and I really didn't want to go that day, but everybody was like, oh, they're kind of like manipulating me and kind of like trying to guilt trip me, like, oh, you don't want to spend time with your family. They love saying that when I don't want. Being social takes a lot of energy. There's a social battery. Yeah. Like sometimes I like to be alone and in my little cocoon, so yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And then like, yeah, I don't need to go and be under everyone 24/7. No. I wanted to end the video right here, but I just wanted to wrap like a few things up. I think I'm gonna continue. I want to make a longer video that's more organized, but this was like really like off the dome, as you can tell, very natural, lots of, yeah. This topic is like very like relevant, and it's really like about like faith, and I want to get into like some deeper stuff too, because yeah, but in general, I was talking about family and how like the mall shooting thing happened. And it was just, I mentioned that because I like was basically trying to get to the point where it's, a lot of people will say, you know, believe in God and are of God and everything like that. And it's like not that I'm like trying to discredit like anybody's connection to God, but it's just like, it's giving like thy will is not there. It's giving more so my will versus thy will. Pretty sure you guys have heard the term at some point, but like the fact that like, okay, somebody else says something like, oh, I have the spirit has placed it on my heart, God has placed it on my heart to do this or to say that, then it's like I'm being discredited. But then when it's like the next person saying it, like, oh, we must go along with that, we must do this, that's not right. Because if God is speaking and trying to give a message to you, like, you need to like have enough discernment to get that message. Like, even if there's a drunk person that's giving you a bunch of like information that you like need to hear in that moment in time, not saying that you need to like listen to every single thing, drop everything and run to listen to that person, like in every aspect of life. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is that some of that advice that you may need in a particular moment in time may come from people that you do not expect, and that's something that we need to be aware of, because you don't want to miss out on something and, you know, some advice that God like genuinely tried to give you because you were taught to like, oh my gosh, is this even recording? Okay, I think it is, but yeah, and I just want to say that really fast, because I just noticed like a lot of people love to do that. Most people don't want to hear like what you have to say or like the next person's belief system. They just want to like say what they believe and then like mute the next person, and like that's not really cool, because it's like, how much information are you missing out on? And the one thing that a lot of people will use against you is like your belief system, to control and manipulate you. And a lot of the times when somebody says something is demonic, that means that they don't understand. And that's why you need to be able to understand different perspectives, but also like stay true to like what you believe as an individual, because like everybody and their mother's gonna always try to sell you something and manipulate you, but you have to have, you know, discernment, understanding, and also like knowledge too, and not just like from the perspective that you're trained to have. Sometimes you have to go out and be your own teacher. That's basically what I want to say. And I will update this video. I want to do more sections because this topic is like really deep, and I actually made a longer video, but I was kind of like going back and forth and the lighting was really messed up, and I was just, yeah. So I'll do another video later. But thank you guys for watching, and have a lovely day or night.